Hi everyone, Tony Maritato here, physical therapist. And in this video, I want to answer a question about what I'm going to characterize as overtraining. So in our closed Facebook group, the Total Knee Replacement Support Group 2020, I was asked the question, is it possible to do too much? Is it better to do shorter, more gentle stretching sessions more frequently throughout the day? Or is it better to push harder and do longer sessions? I'm a huge believer that our bodies need to recover between sessions. I'm a believer that if we push past the threshold of discomfort into the threshold of pain, we're just slowing down the progress. We're setting ourselves back. Believe me, I understand the importance of gaining range of motion. I understand the importance of tissue tolerance and healing and scar tissue. I've been a physical therapist. I've been a private practice owner going on close to 20 years. I've had the great fortune of working with and getting to know hundreds of individuals who have had knee replacements, singles, doubles, like revisions. I mean, I've been fortunate in that I've seen a lot. And what I can tell you consistently is that there is no consistency. I see people who do everything right and they struggle to gain the range of motion. Every degree is a challenge. I see people who technically do everything wrong and they do phenomenal. They do amazing, full range of motion, better than I would ever have imagined. And so, of course, I've seen everything in between. So let's take a moment and let me just try to support the case that less is more. Shorter sessions, more frequency. And I want to explain why. Remember, you are not in the position of, just building strength and range of motion without tissue injury. The surgery was a massive produced massive tissue trauma. Obviously cut the skin, cut the muscle, realigned everything, cut off pieces of the bone, like crazy stuff. And I usually tell my clients that are getting frustrated, I'm like, look, just imagine for a second you were involved in a car accident. You broke your femur, you broke your tibia, and you went into surgery to put everything back together, right? Do you think you would be expected to do as much as you're expecting from yourself in the first couple of days or even couple of weeks? There is no way. You would be held to a different standard. Now, that being said, let's talk a little bit about the physiology and what's really going on in the tissue as the tissue is healing. So we are dealing with acute inflammation. I think everybody can agree with that. We've got redness, we've got swelling, certainly we have pain. And when we're dealing with that, there are a lot of chemical changes that are going on in the knee joint, in the surrounding tissue. And so we want to manage the chemical environment as much as we want to manage the scar tissue formation and strength and coordination and everything else. The best way to manage the chemical environment is with frequent, lower intensity bouts of activity, enough that you did something, enough that you feel like you got the knee moving, but not so much that you don't recover in an hour or two. And I think recovery is the biggest concern here, especially within the first 2 weeks after surgery. It's all about recovery. It's all about building back your blood supply if you didn't get a blood transfusion. It's all about getting the hydration that you need, going to the bathroom normally, right? So many of my patients are dealing with constipation and diarrhea and other GI distress. The pain meds are throwing everything out of whack as well. So I always try to explain, look, weeks 1 and 2, we're just trying to get the tissue to heal from the trauma of surgery. Weeks 3, 4, 5, and 6, we're getting back to some movement and doing the things that, we need to do to survive and be independent. Weeks 7 through 12, we can start to gain a little bit of better coordination, normal movement, strength, conditioning. But within all of that, there's certain guidelines that we have to follow. So what I wanted to share with you guys today, this is a screenshot of a website that I often reference when I'm talking about overtraining. Because at the end of the day, you guys are athletes and you're in training mode, right? So granted, this is for children, but bear with me, you'll understand what I'm saying. So overtraining syndrome, burnout, it's a condition in which the athlete, that's you, experiences fatigue, declining performance in sports despite continued or increased training. Overtraining can result in mood changes. I think probably, you know, when you get grouchy and how your mood changes, decreased motivation, frequent injuries. Think of all the secondary problems that start to develop for some of my clients between like low back pain, hip pain, ankle pain, all the other stuff that's going on. And even sometimes infections because your immune system is being worn down. Symptoms associated with overtraining, you know, chronic muscle and joint pain. Obviously, we have that. I know a lot of my patients wish there was a weight loss involved with it. I think some of you do experience it, but certainly I'd be looking for loss of appetite. If you're not getting nutrients into your body, how can you expect the tissue to heal? You know, increased resting heart rate. Like that's a sign of stress. Elevated blood pressure is a sign of stress. Decreased performance. So obviously you're not doing as much as you did before surgery, even though before surgery you had the knee pain and the disability. Certainly fatigue. I explained to all of my patients there was blood loss. You're going to get tired more quickly than you expect. You have to embrace it. You have to accept it and just rest when you need to rest. Longer recovery time. You know, where maybe before surgery, even though you had pain, you were able to do certain things and you'd recover quickly. Now it's going to take you longer to recover, especially if there was blood loss and other complications. Lack of enthusiasm, you know, frequent illnesses, difficulty, completing usual routines. Like patients of mine always tell me about being foggy headed, and certainly the medication is going to influence this. Personality and mood changes, anger, irritability, depression, sadness. Like you will go through the spectrum of emotion, and sleep disturbances. I don't know that I've ever met an individual who had a knee replacement who didn't experience difficulty with positioning and pain at night during sleep. So the bottom line here, guys, I want you to cut yourself some slack. I want you to give yourself a break. I want you to give yourself the same freedom you would give somebody you cared about who underwent the procedure that you just underwent. You know, I know there's a lot of pressure on you between the therapist, the surgeon, like all the people around you pushing you to get the range of motion on their timetable. Your body's going to do it on your body's timetable. I've known people that take 6 months. I've known people that take 6 days to get past 90 degrees of flexion, 0 extension, 120 degrees of flexion. And don't get obsessed with the numbers. The numbers don't mean anything. I take pride in myself as, you know, being a reasonably good therapist. The team around me is phenomenal, but even as good as other clinicians may be, the numbers are going to vary day to day. They're going to vary hour to hour. The same clinician measuring the same knee at 6 o'clock, sorry about that, guys, is going to have problems and probably get a different number if they measure the knee at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. So don't get obsessed with the number. Focus on function, focus on recovery, focus on performance. Can you get off the toilet a little easier today than you did yesterday? Can you manage the stairs a little easier today than you did yesterday? Then you're moving in the right direction. But if you do too much, if you're too aggressive, if you push too hard, I guarantee you will see a decline in improvement, a slowing of the improvement. And that's your signal that you did too much. Guys, I hope you appreciate the content I'm putting out. I hope you subscribe to the channel and ask me questions. The better questions you ask me, the more information and videos I can get out for you. I always appreciate viewer questions. Guys, I'll catch you on the next video.